Hey guys, Andy from Guitarworks 1000 here. Today we're going to be talking to a monster guitar player. He's done it all, ticked all the boxes, does reviews and demos for TC Electronics and Yamaha, played with a host of people I can't begin to list, culminating in being Glenn Hughes' guitar player for the last 10 years, and had his own albums with electric guitars, and he's got another one out, Guilty Pleasures, out October the 11th. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Soren Andersen. Soren Andersen, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me. It's a real pleasure to make your acquaintance. I've met you before, you wouldn't have remembered, but I'm going to come and see you again. I'd just like to get straight into it. How did you start on this crazy journey of music?
Because it is really crazy.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I come from Fredericia, which is my hometown, an hour from where you are right now, actually.
Yeah.
I grew up as a little, street kid, and I was 8 years old when I got my first classic guitar.
Yep.
And that gave me a gig in a Boy Scout band.
Wow.
We were playing Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, Hang Down Your Head, and Cry.
Right.
That was the material we were playing. And then, I started to listen to rock music because I heard a band called Deep Purple.
Right.
A song called Smoke on the Water,
Yeah.
played by a guitar player called Richard Blackmore.
Yeah.
And from there, I was just, Mom and Dad, I want to be a rock star. And they were like, oh my God. We started with that guitar. So I was 12 years old, and my dad and I, we picked up the Danish version of Craigslist.
Yep.
I think you call it Gumtree in England.
Yeah. Yeah.
We bought a no-name €100 guitar with a small amp and two pedals.
Right.
And from there, I didn't pretty much leave the house for 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
Except for a bit of skateboarding and a bit of kissing girls.
Okay.
And trying to, try the best I could to finish my school.
Right.
years.
Okay.
But that didn't turn out really, really well, because if you look at all my old math books, it's drawing of stage plots and martial stacks and kiss makeup.
Fabulous.
It was almost like a flu. I was really sick about being in a band with somebody from Whitesnake or Thin Lizzy or Deep Purple. Just something.
Wow.
Close to something that actually happened 20 years later, but we get to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was, I think the whole city, they knew it, that was this young kid, upcoming guitar player that really, really wanted to make it as big as possible. Because I was 16 years old when I got a phone call from a real agent, an agency up from the north, that they were looking for a guitar player for the winner of Eurovision Song Contest Denmark.
Okay.
And I knew her a little bit, and I knew the band that she played with. They were looking for a guitar player, and they were older than me. They were 18, 19.
Okay.
And I was a 16-year-old kid.
God.
I just left, school.
Yeah.
Straight into a tour bus.
God.
And then went on a summer tour and came home with, 15,000 euros after that tour. And my dad, he was like, wow. Well, if you can make a living, Soren, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
And from there, I never looked back. I started to study music, and I started to teach music as well. And back in the days, there was no internet, so that was VHS tapes.
Yeah, of course.
Tap songbooks.
Yeah.
I was so focused.
And hungry, it sounds like. Hungry, absolutely. Yeah.
Hungry and focused, and like, okay, if I can get on a tour as a 16-year-old kid, I knew that in my head, like, how far can I actually take this project?
Yeah.
So I moved to Copenhagen when I was 24 because I realized that nobody from Deep Purple lived in Fredericia. But I had this idea that the musicians from, Sneakers and 1-2 and the Danish, big bands like News and, Paul Hallberg, Mikkel Nordsø, all those Danish, they lived over here. So I moved to Copenhagen. I phoned up Jonas Kramer as the first guy. He played guitar for Hannibal Bowl those days. He was that red-haired, good-looking,
Right.
tall, powerful guitar player. He's
Yeah.
now he's now the most used guitar player in Denmark. You know, he does all the stupid things. He's a legend. I found him, and he gave me a lesson of 3 hours about how the business works in Copenhagen and how to be careful about this and that. And he pitched me to a few auditions, but I owe him a lot of my career because he was he was almost like a mentor in the beginning. Like, I want to be him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But before I knew it, I started to work outside of Denmark because TC Electronic, as a musician, you know exactly what that is. It's the best effect processors in the 90s, millennium years.
Yeah.
That was the shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they were looking for an ambassador and a demonstrator.
Okay.
And they phoned me and said, Soren, would you be interested in being the face of TC Electronic guitar department?
Right.
What does that mean? Well, that means we fly you to Los Angeles and Frankfurt Messe and Birmingham Guitar Fest, and we pay you for that, and you just all you have to do is play guitar and talk about guitars. And I was like, okay.
Let me think about that for a second. Yeah.
Are we talking LA in January with proper weather and palm trees? Okay, I'm in.
Oh,
I'm in.
wow. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's 15 years ago. That was in my 30s. That took me to, you know, US and the American dream. You know, I remember the first kind of workshop I did at NAMM. I played a song and then I looked up straight into Steve Lukather. He was looking at my performance because he's a TC Electronic fan.
Right.
And he was interested in that new unit that we were representing.
Yeah.
So I had to realize, okay, my audience here is later on Eric Johnson, later on Stevie Wonder was there. You know, there was a lot of musicians that first day, and that was where I was like, okay, if all these people are here, maybe I should get myself a business card. So I ran straight to FedEx that night and got like 200 small cards with my name and phone and email, and I started to give them out to people and go, hey, I live in Denmark, I'm a professional musician, you know, if anybody needs a guitar player.
Right.
1 year after that, I got a phone call from an agent, and his name is Nils. He's actually Danish, and he told me, Marco Mendoza from Thin Lizzy, Whitesnake, he's looking for a guitar player.
Wow.
You should give him a call. And that turned out to be the start of my international career because Marco is, first of all, very talented. Secondly, he's kind of famous in the musical industry. And third, he's a sweetheart. And he took me under his wings and put me on his solo tour. And through him, after that first night where we were playing at the Lavalley with Kenny Aronoff on drums and Steve Weingart keyboards, and you know, the whole LA scene was in the audience, and you know, things was just happening that night. I was like, fuck, you know, it's really a guy from Yamaha Guitars walked straight up to me and he said, hey, my name is Mark. We're looking for an artist to represent Yamaha Europe with a bit of American style.
Right.
Would you be up for that? And Mark said, just say yes, sir. Just I was playing this guitar that night.
Oh, yeah.
My old Fender.
Beauty.
So I said to him straight away, I said, well, I'm a Fender Stratocaster player, but I don't play Gibsons that much. Well, perfect, because we have guitars like the SG-2000, which is we call it the Les Paul killer. You got one on your wall right there.
Yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
So he gave me one of them, and I played that guitar for 10 years, and I still do.
Wow.
And that changes everything, because then Yamaha, they did a tour with Marco and me and Tommy Aldrich on drums.
Wow.
2 Whitesnake members.
Wow.
Now we're getting there.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. Incredible.
Dream, right?
Yeah.
And after a year or two with Marco and a lot of trade shows, a lot of NAMM and Frankfurt Messe, a lot of Italian TC shows in Dubai and Russia, and, you know, a lot of that. I got a phone call from England, a guy called Carl, and he was managing Glenn Hughes. And Glenn was looking for a guitar player, and I think Marco put me in that loop.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark Kirkland from Yamaha put me in the loop as well.
Right.
And I met Glenn briefly at a backstage party at NAMM the year before. So obviously I'm a huge fan of Deep Purple and Glenn Hughes.
Yeah.
So when I got that phone call, I was on my bike and I was like, what? You know, so I went straight home and I filmed myself play guitar on my laptop, and I sent it the footage to the manager, and that's 10 years ago.
Wow.
And since that little video, that totally took me to the next level. That took me out of Denmark, and that took me to, touring with the Dead Daisies, opening up for Kiss for Weed. Another tour with the Dead Daisies, opening up for Judas Priest, and playing Wembley with the Marshall 50 Years of Loud, 2012, featuring Satriani, Gilbert, Doug Aldrich, Yngwie Malmsteen, Phil Campbell, Nico McBrain, and the little skater kid from Fred Leslie. That was kind of a trip. So, but yeah, I owe a lot of stuff to Mark and Nils and Marco, and those people that believed in me, and I'm always looking for how far can I take this career up? I mean, because it's still growing, and I'm 45 now, and I'm like, how can it still grow? I mean, I know I'm a late bloomer because a lot of people they kind of explode when they're 25 or 30, but it right now is probably the highlight of my career. It has never been better. Glenn and I, we still tour the world with his Deep Purple tribute show, and it's kind of crazy that Joe Satriani knows about me and he likes my playing.
I read a quote, and that was
crazy.
That's sensational. But Soren, listen, you're very humble, and you've expressed gratitude to a lot of people, and I think that's wonderful. But you really are a seasoned musician, and you're not just a guitar player, and this is what I find so interesting about you. You are a guitar player in your own right, but you've also got this Medley Studios, and you're an engineer, producer, and that makes you, on terms of the spectrum, you're covering an awful lot of ground. So when you join an outfit, you're bringing a lot to the party. You're not just bringing guitar, are you? You're bringing a lot. And how does that work for you? I mean, and how, because your knowledge is probably so deep, when you're playing with somebody like Glenn Hughes, so this is a childhood thing. I mean, how much of your font of knowledge do you input? Are you just a guitar player? I mean, you produced Glenn as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I always, first of all, I'm a team player. We form a session on stage. I'm the guitar player. Glenn, he's the bass player, the singer, the drummer, and the keyboard player.
Right.
If I fuck up, the show fucks up. If I get sick, we can't play. So on stage, we all equal.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That means if the drummer, if the snare mic falls off the snare, and I have those 5 seconds to put it up again, I do it.
Right.
I don't shout at the tech and goes, the drum mic falls off.
Yeah.
I see it. I just do it.
Yeah.
And I know it's a bit strange, but that's how I work. And when the shit hits the fan and you're on the road, those common 3 rules like don't be an asshole, don't be late, and be prepared. That's the truth.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the mean truth. That you survive this business if you put a bit of effort in what you do. That's
sure.
I think that's why I survived with Glenn for 10 years. That's because he was Soren, you're never late.
Right.
Hotel lobby call 11. I'm there 10 to 11.
Right.
Office to check out, pay my bills, make sure that I got my luggage and stuff. Yes, I know we have a crew, but I always make sure that's my pedal board, that's my guitars.
Okay.
It's just in my DNA. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think I work as a team player all the time.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's probably one of the main reasons why I'm still here.
Oh well, yeah, but I think it's a big Danish thing as well. I think from what I have gleaned with 20 years being with a Dane, promptness is part of the DNA of being Danish. To be late is really not acceptable. And I like that. I like that sort of very straightforward view. But I'd like to take you back. Can you tell me a little bit about how Medley Studios started and how long it's been running for? And
yeah, well, these are the very rooms, right?
yeah,
that's where
beautiful.
That's where we cut Glenn's.
Wow.
That's where I did this.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's where I do everything. Well, Medley. For people who doesn't know about Medley outside Denmark, Medley is the legendary recording studio in the center of Vesterbro in Copenhagen. All right, so 400 square meter, big studio with every piece of equipment you could ask for, like SSL, Fairchild, 2-inch tapes, pianos, everything you could ask for. We have it here.
Beautiful.
And that studio was for sale in 2006.
Right.
And it was way too expensive for me to buy that, But I teamed up with 2 other companies and some of my buddies from my teenage band, and we came up with this setup where we pretty much managed to share the whole studio without taking down any walls or kill any of that legacy.
Right.
And of course, a legendary studio has a legacy, and we want to keep that. We want to pay respect and pay. How can I say that? Out of love for all these albums over the last 30 years been recorded here, we wouldn't survive if we have killed the vibe with too many walls and shit. So we bought that, and that's now 13 years ago, and it's still up and running, and we're still busy. And I like to work in the studio as much as I like to play. And the more I produce and work in the studio, the better I play.
Right.
And the more I play, the better I think I mix and produce. Because I think that we, out on the road, that's where I see what kind of music people actually like.
Right.
That's on stage. You play a riff or you sing a melody, and you can see, that kind of shit doesn't really work.
Right.
But then when we do that song, people are going mad. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring that home to the session next Monday with that upcoming band from wherever. Yeah. And secondly, being a producer and work here elevates that thing about being a team player, that I need to make sure that the drums are cool when we play live as well.
Right.
I need to know that the Hammond guy is okay with his equipment, and if I can help with anything, I'll do it, and then the show will be better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes, of course it does. Yeah. You're multi-dimensional, Soren. I think you're looking at things that maybe other players wouldn't look at, but not only that, you deal with it as well. You're hands on. So tell me something, because I mean, it's fascinating. You're going to record guitar. It's your day for putting down guitars. Where do you start? What's your go-to amp? What's your go-to guitar? And I know it changes according to, what the album is, what the song is, what the.
I know. Well, that makes me want to move you around a little bit.
Aha.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It always starts here.
Oh.
Right?
Wow.
Because that's kind of my.
Yep.
That's the wall of sound you got right there.
Yeah, beautiful.
I have a Fender amp, which is for clean stuff. I got that 5150 for the more metal shit.
Right.
The orange is my grunchy stoner amp.
Right.
The old Jackson 45 for the blues stuff.
Yeah.
And then the 800, which is pretty much those 2 amps I use the most.
Wow.
The crunchy shit and the more high gain shit over there.
Yeah, lovely. Would you tour with those?
No.
No, they stay in the studio there. Okay.
They are all hooked up with a switcher down here.
Right.
Called Stampede.
Okay. Right. Okay. Beautiful.
That means I can switch from amp to amp.
Right.
And then I mic up a cabinet in that room on the other side of the wall. And from there, then I need to pick a guitar, which is, I got a bunch of guitars in this house, a lot of guitars.
Oh yeah. Lovely.
Guitars, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
So, I pick the amp and listen to the track a few times and then start recording straight up.
So how did you, I want to ask you specifically, because I've been listening to it all morning, Bird Feeder. I don't want to swear too much, but bloody love it. You know, you've got this ground of you know, the rhythm guitars and stuff. Yet you've got this beautiful melodic guitar going on top. And I mean, what's your signal chain for that melodic guitar sound?
JCM 800.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's it. That amp is fantastic. And for that melody, that's just that amp that I remember. And then when it gets a bit more heavy, a guy called Peter Kosek, he built a fuzz pedal for me. Because we were looking for something that wasn't too gritty, but still just gave it a bit of a push. So he investigated, and we found out that Tommy Bolin had a circuit, which was his way of, it's almost like a treble booster, or more like a bit more high gain tube screamer. Does that make sense? So pretty much when it gets fat and beefy, that's the JCM 800 pushed with that little Cossack fuzz pedal, and then a few wah-wah pedals or whatever. But the whole truth about my guitar sound on this album, to be honest, because I gotta admit that I captured my guitar exactly as I was hoping. You know, it sounds as I was hoping. Beautiful. It took me, I think I spent 8 hours on cabinets and microphones that first day. I knew that hit. I knew the way it was compressing and distorting. I knew that was fitting my playing. Right. But then I had an orange cabinet, a diesel, a vintage Marshall, a new Marshall, you know, greenbacks and vintage 30s, and I just I lined them up, all of them, and with the switch from cabinet to cabinet, and I ended up on a greenback, old, worn out Marshall cabinet. Wow. From there, I took 10 microphones, just, you know, tried any possible combination and any possible, how can I say that, you know, angled them and moved around until I found out that my old 47 Neumann, straight on the cone on a vintage Marshall greenback speaker, that was the tone I was looking for. Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, live, if you were to go live, there's a lot of speculation about what people are using. Are they going into a clean amp? Are they using distortion pedals to get the gain? How are you? So, for instance, the electric guitar show that I saw, I love the big Marshall speaker. By the way, it was we were sitting there going, "Are there speakers in there? Can we get behind there and see what's going on?" You know, what's the setup? So you're gonna go live. You're gonna go live. What's? Yeah. I can actually show it. Hang on for a second. Sorry for keeping you waiting. No, not at all. Oh, right. That's the magic, right? This pedal, it's a Danish company called Lunastone. Right. And it has my signature. Wow. Right there. Yep. So this is a pedal designed by me, but the whole circuit and the whole overdrive section is a guy called Sting from Lunastone. He came up with that. Right. That pedal is the tone of electric guitars. It's so close to how Angus Young, how Thin Lizzy, that kind of transparent, you know, very, very gritty and open tube sound. Yep. That guy into a clean Marshall, that's the tone of electric guitar. Wow. That's the tone. Glenn Hughes, the whole tour of Glenn Hughes. Wow. This guy into a Plexi and a Stratocaster. Wow. That's it. So if you like good sounding classic overdrive, that's the baby. And where can one pick that? Where can you pick that up from, Soren? Woodstock Guitars.dk. Yeah. I know they have it. Effectpedals.dk. Right. Effectpedaler.dk. He has it as well. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Andertons. Okay. They got it. Right. You know, we have distributors worldwide, so you can definitely you can get it anywhere. Okay. It's a great pedal. Wow. But for this album, which is a bit more high gainy, I needed something more, you know, compressed and a little bit more aggressive. So that's the JCM 800 high gain. Right. Okay. Okay. And for that tour, You're probably gonna ask me that question later on, but yes, I'm gonna tour that album. We're gonna tour in March.
Yeah.
This,
Well, let's get on to this album, because I'm thrilled that you're bringing it up. So I mean, I love already what I've heard. When is it actually being released? Is it released as of yet? Because I've only seen a couple of singles coming.
It will be out October 11th.
Right. Okay.
I have one more single coming out, and video tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic!
And when I say tomorrow, that means Friday the 28th.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Featuring Ida from Prince's band on bass.
Oh, wow.
Featuring Morten Helborn from electric guitars and drums.
Yeah, yeah, great.
And featuring a guy called Marcus Linnet, who plays original Simmons.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. It's a funky song, but it's pretty cool. We shot the video last week, and that's pretty cool.
Wow. Tell me about the album. When did you really sort of start conceiving this latest album? Can you go into a bit of detail on that?
The thing was that this kind of music was huge in 87, 88, 89. At that point, I'm 17 years old. And the truth is that if you listen to the song called The Kid, that riff was written when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
So that means that pretty much first kind of little bit for this album was written 30 years ago, and 29 years ago anyway.
Okay.
But that means this album has been in my system for 30 years. But there was something from Seattle came into the picture late 80s, early 90s, and we call it grunge.
Right.
Which is great, and I really like it. I really love it. I'm a huge fan of what grunge they brought to the table, like, you know, more songwriter focused music like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, the Mighty Nirvana and stuff like that. So, but the consequences was I sold my Flat Rose guitars, I sold my rack, I sold all my digital stuff just night over. That whole thing, it was over, Andy.
Wow. Wow.
I bought a couple of SGs and a couple of Firebirds, and from there, I started to look more into rootsy rock, Lenny Kravitz, of course, the original Zeppelin, Beatles, Hendrix came into the picture for me big time. I started to analyze what he was about, and kind of left all that shredding, you know, high gainy stuff, just left it behind me.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, forget that.
Was it right?
But no, it's not. It's a musical, buddy. But listen, Soren, what I'd like to say is, you know, you're mentioning Hendrix and you're mentioning Lenny. I can see you. You've just got this thing about you. You're not a pigeonholed guitar player. I could see you playing with Lenny. I could see you playing in a sort of music thing. I can see you playing in a classic rock scenario and modern rock. You seem to have a chameleon type energy where you can fit all these different pockets, and I think that's an incredible. Well, that's a compliment from me coming to you, but I think it's incredible. I can't think of other musicians that really cover that ground, to be honest with you.
Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. And I always go, if it's under the umbrella, I don't know if that's the right word, but in the genre of rootsy rock music, I feel comfortable. But I did a long tour with Danish Anne Linnet, and that's pop music, like really poppy, more Nordic pop music. But yeah, I mean, I like different kind of genres.
Tell me something, Soren. Do you own a Les Paul?
I do. I own one Les Paul, but it's for sale. Because I'm not a Les Paul player. I'm not really a Les Paul guy.
Right. How do you find the weight? Because my SG 2000, that's an original from '84. I find it quite neck heavy.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the more modern ones are like. Are they a bit more sort of balanced?
They are a bit neck heavy, but I work around it as I go.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But if you can imagine having the biggest instrument manufacturer supporting you, that was pretty crazy.
That's incredible. Are you still with them?
Of course I am.
Yeah.
Of course I am, because they are my family, and I will never leave that company. That would be stupid.
Wow. And
Yeah.
you know what? It seems to me that you forged relationships with companies and you stuck with them. And I think this, from my understanding, a lot of great guitar players that find their home with certain gear and they stick with them. Like I'm thinking about Slash with Marshall and Les Pauls. You know, he sort of says, "Found it, loved it." You know,
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So I think that's a wonderful thing.
it's a wonderful thing, and it starts to be like a cooperation between you as a musician and the company. They start
Yeah.
to follow your music and supporting the projects you're involved with, both financially, but also like in general, just supporting the whole the whole path you're walking on. It's really
Yeah.
great to be a
Yeah.
part of Yamaha's family. I'm very proud of being that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that British guy Mark Kirkland, he's my artist relation manager.
Yeah.
He put me in a position where I had to audition for Glenn Hughes.
Wow.
2 years later, after playing with Marco and
Right.
Tommy Aldrich on drums.
Yeah.
Two members from Whitesnake, Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
No?
That's incredible.
But
That's
after,
incredible.
yeah, it's fantastic. And after that, Mark he got me the audition for Glenn, and that was a game changer totally, because I've been a Deep Purple fan from day one. So it was pretty crazy to, in 2009, I did the first show in Moscow.
Right.
On stage with Glenn Hughes. I was looking to the right, and there he was.
Yeah.
Glenn Hughes fucking.
How does that settle with your head? Because you're a young guy, you love Deep Purple, and now you're on stage with Glenn Hughes, rocking it every night. How do you get your head around that?
It's mind blowing, because I still now and then, after 10 years and maybe 1,000 shows, I look to the right and I go, it's Glenn Hughes. Not a cover band, it's Glenn Hughes. It blows my mind, but we almost like family now. I know him so well, and I look out for him on tour, and we on Skype or Facebook a couple of times a week, and he calls me he calls me his son, because he doesn't have any kids.
Oh, hey, that's wonderful, man.
That's wonderful, yeah.
You know what? Talking about gear, I want to bring something up that I've really admired in your playing, and that's the use of baritone guitars on the Electric Guitar album. It really brings a real mean energy to whatever song you're playing with. So how did that come about?
Well, Mika and I, we always curious, the other guitar player from Electric Guitars, and I don't know how it came up, because we both had a couple of baritones, but more used for, tremolo, shell crow, Twin Peaksy kind of,
got you.
But I can't remember how we came up with the idea of adding a big, huge fuzz pedal, and just strum that, low B string. The thing is that the low B string on a 5-string bass is the low B string on a baritone.
Right.
So you just take the whole sonic picture and take it down to hell.
So you can play as if you're playing a normal 6-string, and it's just like a fourth down. Yeah.
Fourth down, exactly.
So how does that compare to playing a 7-string, which would have the same?
That's a good question.
Have you ever tried a 7-string? I've never tried one.
Never tried a 7-string. That's a really good question, Andy. Actually.
Yeah.
That might be the next album. You'll never know.
Yeah, okay. That's for the next interview. Yeah. Brilliant. Another thing on the electric guitar side of things is your incredible vocals. And you're known as a guitar player, but your vocals are outstanding. You and me both. You in particular, I think, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Have you had any formal training with your vocals?
That's a compliment, brother. Thank you very much. Because
you're welcome.
Well, Mick and I, we are guitar players. We know that. We started out as guitar players, and then electric guitars came in to the picture, and we started to sing, both of us. I've been I would say like a semi-pro singer my whole life. Yeah. So I was okay with that. I'm not a Glenn Hughes, David Coverdale kind of singer, but I got a couple of notes. It's fine, and a little bit of range. I can go up and down.
Absolutely.
But Mika, he couldn't sing for shit when we started the band. No, not at all. And I said to him, Mika, I remember I heard you sing Fire with Jimi Hendrix at a club called Drop In
Yeah.
a couple of years ago. And I said, you have a great voice, brother. You should sing. And he was like, Soren, I'm not really comfortable with singing. And then
Right.
I forced him to sing and go,
Right.
bro, put your mouth up to the mic and sing.
Yeah.
And we discovered that he has a really cool voice, a beautiful vibrato. And today he's a really good singer. I mean,
Wow. He's
Mika
discovered it. Yeah.
he didn't know that he was a great singer. He had no
Yeah.
idea.
Wow.
So the truth is, he couldn't sing for shit when we started the band, and now he's a really good singer. That's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Søren, we've covered a lot of ground, and thank you for being so, just amazingly honest and just brilliant. You're a lovely guy.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you the big question now. What is left for you, Søren? Because you've certainly in my life, if I ticked a couple of the boxes that you've ticked, I'd die happy. So you've ticked loads of boxes. But what's left for Soren Andersen? What's left for you to look forward to?
Let's be clear. I'm really happy and thankful for. I took like 2 weeks with the Dead Daisies playing arenas.
Yeah.
Opening up for Kiss. And the
Wow.
second week we were opening up for Judas Priest. Being a part of that whole arena tour circus where there's 30,000 of people in the audience, and 50 people are working behind the stage with lighting and catering, and and you're hanging out with Whitesnake. Come on, that's pretty fucked.
Wow.
Yeah, hanging out with Kiss.
Yeah.
Have a drink with Paul Stanley at the bar. You're like, wait a minute.
Oh.
So I can tick that box for sure. And me and Glenn and the band have done festivals and lots of clubs, and I toured with Mike Tramp for 5 years, a lot of clubs and festivals. So yeah, I can pretty much check the box as a touring guitar player. We played US, and I haven't been to Japan. That's one of my big wishes. So Japan would be cool. But also, oops, I lost power here. We're back. But also, now that Glenn, he announced that he's going to do something different next year. He's going to tour with the Dead Daisies.
Right.
Vocalist. And somehow, out of perfect timing, this guy is now a reality, and it's going to be out on October the 11th. And
Perfect.
I'm already now looking into booking shows for next year. So we have a tour in March in Denmark.
Brilliant.
And we're going to move on to Europe for 3 weeks in April. And I just got a phone call yesterday from an American agency. So I think there's a big box to tick next year. Which means
absolutely.
Touring outside of Denmark with my own music. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and of course you're coming to Esbjerg, aren't you?
That's the plan. Yeah, that's definitely the plan. Eric, who's the booker at Copenhagen, I think he's negotiating with my manager. So send him an email and go, Eric.
It's a done thing. It's a done thing. Consider it done.
Yeah.
Well, Søren, thank you so much. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I've enjoyed listening to your music and watching you live. Thanks again, and I hope in the future we can talk again and have an update on what you're doing and how things are going. But thank you so much. It's very, very kind of you, and you're an excellent geezer. You really are, as in London.
Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you. And I apologize for all the hands going back and forth, but people are calling me while we are trying to
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Listen, you've been fabulous, Søren, and I will see you in Bramming in December.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll come and say hello.
And I'll bring a couple of these.
So. That would be fabulous. And good luck with the release, and good luck with your continued success, Søren.
Thank you for the support, Andy. I'll see you next time. Okay.
You're very welcome, Søren. You're very welcome. Take care, brother. Have a great day.
Right back. Cheers, mate.
Bye.